Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'll start with some NFL news here. So the hashtag Broncos have opened the 21-day practice window for running back Tyler Beatty, who collapsed on the sideline after suffering a back injury in week 4. Remember when he collapsed? I believe it was against the Jets. He collapsed on the sideline. Be a great comeback story. After he passed down the sidelines. I don't know if he's going to play much, coming back, because they have, who do they have? For who the running backs are? Javonte Williams is in. I mean, Audric Astone's good. They could probably have him be the second or third maybe the third running back behind those two. But yeah, it'd be a good comeback story. So, per Jeff Zrebiec, how do you say that name? Ravens game status report for tomorrow's matchup against the Texans. Players that are out: Justice Hill, the running back with a concussion. Obviously, he was expected to be out. Wide receiver Nelson Aguilar, also with a concussion, out. Quarterback Jalen Amore Davis, hamstring, out. Players that are questionable: wide receiver Zay Flowers with a shoulder injury. Quarterback Tre'Davious White with a shoulder injury are questionable. Both Flowers and White were limited today in practice. I mean, Zay Flowers at all the post-game media and didn't seem to miss any game time. Maybe they're trying to be careful. Short turnaround, Saturday to Wednesday. So I feel like that's going to be a nothing burger that Trey White and Zay Flowers will play tomorrow for the Ravens. So for the Steelers, some big news for them. Wide receiver George Pickens is off the injury report. Missed the last 2 games with a hamstring injury. Desperately need him back, and he's off the injury report. He's good to go after being out with a hamstring injury. Meanwhile, quarterback Justin Fields, per Ian Rappaport, with an abdominal injury, is going to be questionable. So they're going to have George Pickens for tomorrow, which is huge against those Chiefs. The Super Bowl Chiefs. So George Pickens should be good to go. Titans head coach Brian Callahan tells reporters that QB Mason Rudolph will start on Sunday versus the Jaguars in the Tank Bowl on Sunday. So Christian Watson, the Packers wide receiver, he suffered a knee bruise in last night's game against the Saints and could play Sunday versus Vikings per head coach Matt LaFleur. Man, this guy's had so many injuries. I mean, the good news is it's only a knee bruise, and there's a chance he could play Sunday versus the Vikings. They'll need every player they can have available for that one big matchup. That guy's always hurt. Good thing he wasn't much worse, though. But he's always hurt. Some more injury updates. Arizona Cardinals left tackle Paris Johnson Jr. and right tackle Jonah Williams have been ruled out against the hashtag Rams. Man, Kyler Murray may run for his life. Jets QB Aaron Rodgers has a knee injury and his status is uncertain for Sunday against the Bills. Offensive tackle Olu Fashanu is heading to injury reserve with a foot injury, no surgery. So he's going to be an hour with a foot injury. Bengals coach Zach Taylor anticipates offensive lineman Marius Mims and offensive lineman Orlando Brown Jr. practicing today. So they desperately need those guys against that Broncos defense. Man, his status is uncertain. I'm not sure he's going to play. So it's a wait and see for James Conner with his injury for this week. He isn't ruled out. His status is up in the air. So potential help on the way for the Bucs. They have designated safety Jordan Whitehead to return from injured reserve, which is opening his practice window. So they definitely need him back for that defense. The Texans has officially placed wide receiver Tank Dell and safety Jimmy Ward on injured reserve. And it's not good. Some more bad news with Tank Dell we'll talk about here. We talked about yesterday towards ACL. Along after he dislocated his kneecap, we'll talk about more in a moment. The Chiefs list star tackle Dave tackle Chris Jones and offensive tackle Jawan Taylor is questionable for tomorrow's game against the Steelers, and left tackle DJ Humphries is out. I think Chris Jones should just rest me off. They need him for the playoffs. So it's Chiefs, it's gonna be an interesting matchup with that defense of T.J. Watt, Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith. But we'll see. Maybe Chris Jones will play. We'll see. The Jets had a kicker, Greg Joseph. Oh boy, isn't that just great? The Seahawks, they listed running back Kenneth Walker III as did not practice today, while running back Zach Charbonnet was upgraded to full practice ahead of Thursday night's game in Chicago. So, seems to me Kenneth Walker might not play this week on Thursday Night Football. And Zach Charbonnet, well, you probably got Charbonnet at this point. For their offense, I think he's just a better running back. The Cardinals have placed their offensive tackles, Paris Johnson Jr. and John Williams, on season-ending injured reserve. Paris had a great season this year, so it's a good part of their future. Dolphins linebacker Bradley Chubb will not be activated by tomorrow's deadline. He's officially done for the season. So, Bradley Chubb is done for the year. See if you got anything else from safety. The Green Bay Packers have clinched a playoff spot, so they are officially clinched to the 2024 NFL playoffs. It's all from safety. So we got anything from JPA football. Let's talk about Richard Sherman. He wasn't a fan of the officiating for the Commanders-Eagles game. Those PI calls in Lattimore were absolute horseshit. I'm so tired of this game getting soft, ridiculous. I mean, the officiating all season has been horrible. I mean, Lattimore should have had more, though. I mean, I feel like he had a lot of worthy penalties. So some more news regarding Tank Dell, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. But Texas wide receiver Tank Dell also suffered in the full injury, full details, a torn MCL, a torn LCL, a torn ACL, meniscus damage, and a dislocated kneecap. He basically tore everything in his knee. He will likely miss the entire season next year as well. The rest of this year, obviously, the rest of next season. He's going to miss the rest of this year and then a full year. Well, I hope he comes back 100%. That's a massive loss for that team, man. For the rest of this season and next season as well. So, some stuff that has been announced for Monday Night Raw next week. Dakota Kai versus Zoe Stark in one of the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament semifinals. Talking about some good old wrestling now. And then Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria in the semifinals. And then to determine them who will win the Women's Intercontinental title. I mean, I'd like to have Dakota and Io. That's going to be my guess. Or would be my guess, but I say they'll have Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria. But I hope they either give it to Dakota Kai or Io Sky or even Lyra. But that's two good matches, I'd say. And Otis and Jay Gable's finally happening next week. I don't know why this took so long. I don't know why they're just now going back to this. I don't know why they're just now going back to this. Like, they should have done this when it was hot. This should have happened, like, months ago. To be honest. But at least it means better than never, I guess. That's some stuff announced for next week. So Netflix is going to provide more info about WWE on its platform ahead of the move in the next in a few weeks when they make the move to Netflix. Netflix will begin to roll out select archival content on service in January. Episodes will be available to watch immediately after the live stream if watching live is supported on your device. Programming can be downloaded roughly 48 hours after it streams for offline viewing. All live events on Netflix are included in all plans, including select WWE programming depending on your region. Well, pretty much basically everything we, I guess, know. Or it was either just rumors or something. So, yeah, so Bleacher Report named their best and worst trends in WWE and AEW in 2024. WWE compelling feuds with a clear direction. AEW major stories and ongoing rivalries in the women's division. Underutilizing tag team wrestling in WWE. AEW diminishing championships. WWE the 5-match pay-per-view format. Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good list, I'd say. The only, rivalry they've had in the women's division that's been great was Toni Storm and Mariah May. That's maybe Chris Statlander and Willow, Mercedes and Willow. Those are good matches, but I'm talking about stories going forward. Besides those few, who else do they have? Basically, AEW is just storytelling. I feel like they can tell stories, they just don't. People are gonna tell me, oh, the storytelling has been the best it's ever been this year. Yeah, sure thing, pal. Sure thing. Still really mid. And that's a low bar. Their storytelling, AEW's hard to follow for me, because I don't watch it every week. But from what I watch, it's not that good. It's not that great. Like, the storytelling doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, I feel like they can tell stories, they just don't. So, WWE ranked the top 10 moments, SmackDown moments of 2024. The Rock acknowledged Roman Reigns. The Usos reunite. AJ Styles' fake retirement. Kevin Owens pile drives Randy Orton. Damage control turn on Bayley. The new Bloodline takes out Paul Heyman. Randy Orton with the RKO on KSI. Cody Rhodes slaps The Rock. Meech empowered on Chelsea Green and Dumpster. And Jacob Fatu's debut. Man, KSI, remember him, he saw that RKO pretty well. So, Sports Illustrated's Pro Wrestling Awards for 2024. Men's Wrestler of the Year, Cody Rhodes. Women's Wrestler of the Year, Toni Storm. Breakout Star of the Year, Jacob Fatu. Match of the Year, Bryan Danielson vs. Will Ospreay. Show of the Year, WrestleMania. Story of the Year, The Bloodline Saga. Rivalry of the Year, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, pretty much. Heel Turn of the Year, Xavier and Kofi. Turn on Big E. Best on the Mic, Drew McIntyre. Tag Team of the Year, Fraxum. They like Fraxum getting some good, getting a good mention. I mean, Bryan Danielson and Ospreay Match of the Year. I thought it was pretty good. But I think Swerve and Danielson was better. But yeah, that's all the wrestling, the latest wrestling stuff. Talking about some NASCAR, the judge ruling and the, you know what, no delay enforcing requirement. The NASCAR approved a charter transfer to front row, but as far as the SHR transfer to 2311, team has to ask for that again because preliminary injunction request was from FRM, I believe, because 2311 did not yet formally ask for the transfer. And with the knowing the judge most likely would issue injunction where 2311 files request and NASCAR would appeal. NASCAR's agreed to an injunction for SHR charter to transfer to 2311, yada yada yada. Too much reading, folks. And the district court judge has to formally okay this injunction request because Bob said he would be surprised if he rejected it, knowing the judge most likely would. There's so many tweets. My God, man. It basically speeds things up along to go to U.S. Court of Appeals now, rather than waiting for them to ask for an injunction. The NASCAR approved charter transfer measure for SHR. Sorry, there's so many tweets, man. I'm like, come on. NASCAR filed brief due today for motion to dismiss key arguments because teams operates franchises, cases upholding exclusive dealing arrangements between franchises and franchisees are the most pertinent precedent. Teams aren't being silent from NASCAR because can be open. It's weird they call them franchises. Steve Don talked about the playoff changes, look at different ideas, and if we can make tweaks and enhance it, we certainly will do that, but we're not going to do unless we feel like it's the best interest of sport. Well, it's the best interest of sport, just get ready for the playoffs. But, yeah, that's all to say. Till next time out, peace, and have a good Christmas Eve.